Oh, hi there. Greetings, demigods, monsters, and gods alike. You've found yourself here at the Olympus Report. What do skeletons, diamonds, and jackals have in common? Well, let's take a look at the Gods Encyclopedia to find out. Today we're going to be taking a look at the god of death throughout mythology, and depending on which mythology you're looking at, each god is a little bit different. We have Hades for Greek mythology, Pluto for Roman mythology, Anubis for Egyptian mythology, and Hell for Norse mythology, all of which appear in the Riordanverse. So let's start at the beginning with Greek and Hades. Hades is the Greek god of the dead and the underworld, and the king of the underworld. He is the eldest of the big three, the firstborn son of Kronos and Rhea, and the husband and uncle of Persephone. Hades is described as very tall, imposing, and very muscular, with albino white skin, intense black eyes that glitter like frozen tar, and shoulder-length black hair with bangs usually covering most of his forehead, and is the first god that Percy met who he said actually looked like a god. Hades is an extremely solitary and independent god, choosing to rely on his own resources as opposed to that of others. Hades' main weapon is the Helm of Darkness. Hades' abilities would include Geokinesis. Hades has control over earth and stones. Necromancy. Hades has divine authority and absolute control over the deceased. Power over the undead. Hades can reanimate skeletons and call forth endless waves of the dead to fight for him. Metamorphosis. Hades can capture and release living souls in a blast of yellow flames. Death curses. While he is unable to kill someone before the fates decree it their time, he can prevent a person's soul from ever leaving their body, as he did with the Oracle of Delphi. Death sense. Hades can sense when a person is dying. Life sense. Hades can determine how much longer someone is left to live. Resurrection. Hades is capable of resurrecting the dead, but never uses this power as mortals must respect the laws of death. Osteokinesis. Hades can summon and control numerous bones at once. Monster lordship. Hades has control over countless monsters. Umbrakinesis. Hades has absolute control over shadows and darkness, including darkness generation, darkness shield, darkness absorption and dissipation. Invisibility, shadow travel, dark infernal pyrokinesis. Hades has control over the black hellfire. Phobokinesis. Hades has control over the power of fear. Transfiguration. Hades is able to transfigure mortals into other objects. Shapeshifting. Hades has the ability to shapeshift his form. Alright, let's move on to his Roman counterpart, Pluto. As Pluto, he becomes more disciplined, militaristic, and warlike. While the Greeks feared him as the lord of the underworld, the Romans respected him as the god of riches. Pluto's regions are supposed to lie underground, and it was believed that he was the first one who taught men to bury their dead. Pluto was extremely revered by both Greeks and Romans. He had a magnificent temple on Pylos. When Pluto appears in the son of Neptune, he has greasy black hair and is dressed in a black suit, with a black and platinum striped tie and a tombstone gray shirt. If you look closely at his suit, you can see the souls trying to escape from their agony, much like Hades' robes. He wears a silver ring on his finger and his skin is pale, so much so that it is described as being almost blue, like cold milk. While Hades and Pluto are very similar in their roles and powers, the key difference is that Pluto was respected by Romans, making Pluto less bitter and generally a nicer god. However, both gods do care about their children, although they show it in different ways. Pluto's abilities would be similar to Hades, but would also include chromatokinesis. He can manipulate and control riches under the Earth's surface. Ferrokinesis. Pluto can summon a quantity of precious metals and jewels from underground. Alright, let's move on to Egyptian mythology with Anubis. Anubis is the Egyptian god of death and funerals. His parents are Nephthys and Set, but he was raised by Osiris and Isis. Anubis is currently the only remaining Egyptian god left on Earth, having taken the host of Walt Stone to live a mortal life. Anubis/Walt is currently in a relationship with Sadie Kane. In his jackal form, Anubis is sleek, black, and graceful and wears a golden collar. Sadie describes this form as cute. In his natural human form, Anubis is about 16 and possesses a pale complexion, long tousled black hair, and warm brown eyes, the color of melted chocolate. He is described as being very good-looking and tall. Anubis is described as being in a good mood every once eon or so. Anubis may have been one of the most important Egyptian gods. When a corpse was mummified, the priest would wear jackal-headed masks and pray to Anubis. The key difference to Hades and Pluto is that while Anubis is the god of death and can often be seen in graveyards, he is not in charge of the Egyptian underworld. That would be the god Osiris.
Anubis's abilities would include necromancy, death magic, containment, mummy wrappings manipulation, invisible dead summoning, shapeshifting, animal charming, doo-wop portals.
Alright, let's finally move on to Norse mythology with Hel. Hel is the Norse goddess of the dishonorable dead. Hel was one of the 3 children born to Loki. As the children's births were one of the catalysts for Ragnarok, she and her brothers were placed under careful watch, with Hel becoming the queen of the dishonorable dead. The left side of Hel's body and face is described as heart-achingly beautiful, about 25 years old. She has long dark hair and pale, even skin. The right side, however, is terrifying. Withered skin, a skeletal hand and leg, and patches of blue ice covering decayed flesh. She has a milky zombie gaze, which Magnus finds very unnerving. Her half-sister Samira describes Hel as even more deceitful than their father, Loki. In Magnus's vision, Hel is described to be cold inside and out, and extremely bitter. In addition to powers over the dead, Hel can also control and produce and manipulate the cold and ice. She also possesses charm speak, something the other gods of death do not. While Hades, Pluto, and Anubis are the gods of death, generally they are not evil and are actually pretty helpful to our heroes. The same cannot be said for Hel. So some similarities and some differences depending on which mythology you're looking at, as they all have different interpretations and myths. Which god would you like me to look at next? Let me know down in the comments below. But until next time, I'm signing off. And please, as always, stay safe.